All right. Hello, we are back. Um, welcome. Would you care to introduce yourself while I do a terrible job of playing your game on stream here?
Okay, my name is Alice, and my nickname is LOVERDRIVE, and I'm one of the developers of Adrenaline game.
Cool. I'm just going to. Sorry, go ahead.
I did like most of the job because my partner wasn't able to work during Sunday, so yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Well, I am going to be. Oh boy. It certainly, I think, stands out as one of the most visually polished games to come out of this particular jam. Can you touch a bit upon these assets? Where do they come from? Because I think I remember seeing that the visuals and audio were created outside of the jam.
3D assets were from Polygon Sci-Fi City Pack. I think it's called like that, or something like that. It's from the asset store. I think. Well, I can find the link, but not right now.
Sure.
And I used some custom shading for the game. It's it has the toon shading look.
Yeah.
And sound, it's like from various sources, whatever we can find.
And it is hard. Of all the jam games I've played, I've probably made the least progress in this one. So I apologize to the stream today if you're basically seeing me kill the same two goons over and over again, because anytime I come up against one of those guns, maybe could you tell me, is there something I'm supposed to be doing to fend off the guns?
Dashing forward makes you invincible for a brief moment. When you press space,
yeah,
you roll forward, and you can dodge bullets by doing so.
Oof. It was, I have to ask, was Dark Souls an inspiration? Because it's a very, very punishing game.
Actually, it's so punishing because I think that making a game hard is way easier than making it easy. But it wasn't intended to be this way. It's when I just realized that it's this hard, I went on with it. I added save points that work like Dark Souls bonfires and that you died screen. But it wasn't an original intention. It was more like because of the difficulty.
Yeah, I think that, as you said, it's just very natural to end up with a game that's entirely more difficult than you might have intended. Well, yeah, I'm not going to be making much progress if I want to maintain conversation. But perhaps in the meantime, you could tell me a bit about how you decided to, how it was that you decided to make this particular game. How did you, to adhere to the theme? Obviously, you have the samurai losing control, but to make this kind of game over the course of a jam is very ambitious. So why don't you tell me a bit about that?
Well, as for the idea, we just fell into a trap. So, a game when you can run out of control, and control is a resource that you need to keep track of. It lies on the surface. And, tons of people who came up with basically the same idea. It's as for the other things, it came from the process. It was initially be cyberpunky maybe, and by accident, I imported wrong asset from the store. There is Sci-Fi City Pack and there is Samurai. And then I remembered there is a beautiful art in Cyberpunk 2020, a rulebook, like guy with a cyber arm and in samurai armor. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I just left I left samurai there.
Cool. I love that that's just a happy accident. I'm going to be dodge rolling my way past everything here, I think. How long does the invincibility last on the roll?
Like until it ends.
Oh boy, they can shoot through walls, huh? Oh boy, oh boy,
Yeah,
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Or they can shoot through the fences at least. I don't seem to be able to find any cover from these gunners. Oh, they can shoot through the car too. Oh boy, oh boy. So okay, there's my goodness. Well, can you walk me a bit through the development of the game? Like, have you got experience working with assets from the asset store before?
Well, I do use assets. Like, I'm not the best artist, and well, I can do a semi-decent job in modeling, but I can't. But it takes a long time for me to finish. So naturally I use asset store assets often. Most of the time, when I participate in jams, I just assume that I won't make my own assets, and just push it out of my mind, so I can focus on gameplay and other things.
Yeah, sounds good. So the I guess the animations and such, those are all part of the asset pack. So it came down to building out the gameplay based on the animations that were already available to you.
Yes, basically, that's it. That's it. I had well, as for the gameplay, it's well, I started with fleshing out the combat system. Like, I wanted it to be good. And everything else had less priority, and turns out it was a bad idea, because like I pretty much screwed up with level design, and well, our rage mechanics, it doesn't actually work because of that. Because most of the time you only encounter like melee enemies or gunners, and not both at the same time. So most of the time I can just spam R1, get enraged, and and that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm only making any progress because I'm just abusing the running and dashing. Basically, there seems to be like I'm just pulling every enemy in the level and then letting them kill me at the save point, and then hope that they don't notice me when I respawn. But I am actually making some amount of progress, at least before this gunner kills me, because I'm sure that's about to happen. There it goes. Okay, well, was there any particularly clever hack or shortcut that you used to finish the game that you would never do for a regular project?
Well, there wasn't like any clever hacks. They're mostly pretty stupid.
Well, necessary, whatever it takes.
Well, there are tons of static variables I use that are really not supposed to be static. Like everyone in the level knows your input, your whether you're blocking or attacking, and such things. And well, the save system, like with this save system was because I didn't have time to like flesh out levels and things like that. So I just took it from my another game. I have one fire save system and put it here. You missed an intersection like at the beginning.
No, I'll try to dodge roll, sprint my way back there.
Yeah, this is right way.
Okay. Oh boy. Well, not making it this time. Okay, well, were there any things that you needed to cut or change in order to finish the game on time?
Oh, well, our story was, there's supposed to be a story, but then I didn't have time to actually implement it.
I'm Zeri. I was a script writer for this game, and he cut off almost everything I wrote for this game. So,
who am I hearing now?
This is my wife, and she like wrote the story for this game. I ended up cutting out because I didn't have time to implement it.
Yeah, I guess when you make a game jam, you kind of prioritize either mechanics or, in my case, oddly, I chose to try to do a narrative-focused game, and that meant not having any mechanics other than some branching choices. But even that was the case, I still had to cut one of the conversations that I made in order to get everything implemented on time because, we've only got 48 hours. So do you anticipate going back in and adding that any of the story that you had to cut back into the game?
I actually don't know. Like right now, I'm sick. I'm sick of it. But maybe like later, when I'll cool down and be able to continue, then maybe I'll polish it and publish. I don't know right now. I can't say much.
Sure. Well, is there anything else you wanted to discuss about the game's development?
Well, watching streams of other people playing my game is pretty strange experience because literally no one plays it like I did. Maybe I did a pretty bad job at explaining all the mechanics, but this combat, in combat, I thought, I planned that it was more about blocking than actually attacking. It's in my head it should play like Sekiro when you block at the right time and then the enemy gets knocked down. But most of the people I watched playing this game, they just spammed attack and were okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for my part, I can say the reason that I'm spamming attacks so heavily is because I did try blocking. When the first time I played through the game, I would try to block things, but often my block would just get staggered and then my character would get hit after I blocked anyway. So I realized if I don't time the blocks right, then I get kind of locked in this loop where I get hit, I get stunned, and then I get hit again, and I get stunned, and then I die. But if I take the more offensive route and I just attack, then there's at least a chance that I can succeed. So I guess that's why I ended up in this situation where, at least for my part, the reason that I play the game more aggressively than you might have expected is because the blocking mechanic, I just never clicked in my brain. So, I guess maybe one of the easiest ways that you could get players more acquainted with the blocking mechanic is if you have them encounter fewer enemies at a time. Because if you're in a one-on-one fight, then it's much easier to time your blocks and get a sense for how things are working. But when you start to get surrounded by enemies, then you feel like all you can do is just attack.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it just proves importance of playtesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a recurring theme of the interviews today is getting difficulty tuning is one of the most difficult things to get right. Because I guess everybody that I'm talking to has successfully released a game. So that means that you got over the biggest hurdle, which is scope, and having a game that you are actually able to complete in the time frame of the jam. But then the next biggest ones are tutorialization and difficulty. So I know you said that you don't really have any plans on developing the game further immediately. But if there are any other questions from chat, now would be a good time to submit them. Otherwise, my typical question is, what are your plans for the game, if any, going forward? So even if you have to take a bit of a break from the project, are there anything that you can see that you definitely do want to fix or change, or are you content to just leave it as it is?
Well, the first thing I need to change is enemies being able to shoot through the walls.
Yeah, okay, that would definitely help.
And I do think I need to work on enemy placement and general and level design, because then if enemies were far between, and or there were more encounters with mixed types of enemies, the game would work better. And maybe add some tutorial or something. So
yeah, I think that a lot of the issues of players not fully grasping the mechanics of the game comes from how quickly they are thrust into the fights in the game. Just since if Dark Souls is an inspiration, I assume you've played the first Dark Souls?
Yeah, I did.
Right. Well, if I guess looking through Undead Burg and looking at how slowly they introduce the fights, and the players very often just on a one-on-one basis, giving the player a lot of time, and for a notoriously difficult game, I think a game that's difficult is hard to be fun. I think it's much easier to have a kind of just crazy hack and slash experience where every enemy dies in one hit, and then you can go nuts and just place a whole bunch of enemies, and maybe they're kind of stupid and they just get in your face and they wait a really long time to hit you. So that's an entirely other angle you can consider, is just making the game a bit more like arcade fun power fantasy of just running and slashing your way through everything.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's in line with your original intention.
Well, with enemy placement, there was a problem that when I started to actually make a level, I already was very familiar with the game. When on my first attempts in testing the combat system, I died a lot, and by the time I started to make the level, it was I always felt that what I'm doing is too easy, because by that time I was a very experienced player, and it's my own game. I literally know all the rules.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that happens to almost everybody in the course of development.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think I have anything else to say. So.
Sure. I was just about to say we're kind of at the point where I'd be wrapping things up anyway, because I want to leave a roughly 10-minute buffer between these. So is there any, where can people find you, and any social media accounts you want to plug, or anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, maybe, well, I have a Twitter that has 0 followers, and I post there. I try to post. Well, I want to post free stuff there, but yeah, things that I work on. Mostly I work on shaders and graphical programming. So, I don't know actually.
Okay, cool. Well, please feel free to include your Twitter in the chat. And here is a link for everybody to try the game for themselves. See if you can get into it. See if you can do get into the mechanics a bit more than I did. Don't just hack and slash. Try to actually master what's there. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation today. And I wish you the best of luck with the game and all your endeavors going forward.
Well, best of luck to you with Stroke.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much.